Lindy, are you filming all of your influencer videos, posts, whatever, either sitting in your car or eating a bag of something? Because this seems to be exceedingly popular in my feed.
Yeah. I'm also doing a lot. Yeah. I sit in my car. I get like a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Nice.
I take a bite. I go, wait, why is this low-key fire? That's most of what I do.
Kevin's involved.
Perfect timing. He must have heard me hit the button.
Yarp, 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 he says. Well, and with that sound, we know it's time to record podcast, because Kevin only does that the second someone hits record. So it must be podcast hour.
That's right. But you know what? Kevin knows what he's doing, because you know what podcast this is? It's not any old podcast. This is...
I'm sorry. I tuned in for Text Me Back podcast. Is this something else?
No, this is something... even better. It's called Temple of the Dog.
Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay.
And Kevin's a dog. Do you get it?
Kevin is a dog. You know, and that's true. Luke and Andrew are here, or shall we say we're there, because we're in their Riverside, which means we don't have access to any of the stupid nonsense on our media board, which is unfortunate. So Lindy can't play the Trump drop where he's like, very rich, fat shot drug. So unfortunately, the listeners can't hear that. But welcome, Andrew and Luke, to your own Riverside recording studio. It's beautiful to be with you.
It's amazing to see you. Thank you for sliding into our Riverside.
Yes, I love what we've done with the place.
We have so many Trump drops that we can play from here if you need us to. Although we actually, I think was it after the first one, Andrew? The first election, we just said we laid off. It was kind of like we couldn't figure out for us personally the line between it's funny because it's ridiculous or it just kind of kills something inside of us.
Our listeners actually have banned them, and I'm not allowed to play.
We did. We took a poll, and then they immediately everyone said don't do that, and then we violated the sacred trust and played them a bunch the next week, and I still feel bad about that.
Then we never did it again. Never
did it again
because we played him like crazy leading up to the first election, because it was like, what a silly thing that this person thinks they could be president. Everything they say is humorous because it's so misguided, and it just has, I don't know if you've been tracking it, but it's gotten less funny.
I know I haven't been paying attention at all, so just let me know if anything happens that I need to know about. Yeah, well, so on our show we have something we call the No Giggle Pledge, and we invented it during the election in 2024 because I am so sorry to say this, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is sensational.
It's comedy gold.
So funny. He's so funny, and frankly, the fact that he is the president makes it funnier, because why is the president asking each of his cabinet members who's on Ozempic? Like what? What am I watching? Why is he saying we're going to lose 800 billion pounds before the midterms? The midterms? Hello? So, so it's just insane. So we, during the election, Lindy and I were like, okay, we're going to try really hard not to laugh at anything Trump says, because now we're in this very serious moment where he might get elected again. And unfortunately, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but he did get elected again. Yeah, he totally did get elected again. So we were like, every time we laugh at something Trump says, we'll donate $5 to Kamala Harris. And sadly, it did bankrupt Text Me Back podcast. Text Me Back podcast is no longer solvent because we had to donate all our money to Kamala
In the words
Harris.
of Maya Rudolph, to what end?
To what end? Why would Donald Trump want to
roast my
bowflex, flood my basement? But it happened. He did do that. And now we are gonna do World War III, I guess. If we can remember the difference between Greenland and Iceland, then we will invade.
So how are you guys doing keeping politics out of the podcast?
So good. No, this is our second vertical Temple of the Dog.
True.
We have Text Me Back Maine, we have Swamp Person, and then this is our third a part of
Ooh.
our media empire.
Swamp Person is a great name, by the way.
Thank you.
And I was saying this before we started recording, but and I don't know if this is sort of public to y'all's Text Me Back listeners or not, that you're thinking about maybe doing a show that's more politics based. Is that public knowledge?
It is, yeah. So we asked our listeners, like, because we talk a lot about politics on the show, and sort of. I mean, but sometimes something so bad happens that I feel like Lindy and I need to process it. And what's going on in Minneapolis is one of those times where it's like, we can't just like do a show where we're like, anyways, then the frog pretended to be a cop. You know what I mean? Like I like we kind of have to acknowledge that like the government is extrajudicially killing people.
Yes.
And the reason that our show exists is to try to like keep everybody alive through this crisis and like make sure everyone's in the right headspace to fight back, not to ignore that this stuff is going on. But there are a lot of people who listen to our show who are just like, that this is like my escape room. So
and I can't solve the puzzle to get out. That's more the TBTL
that's how you
approach.
keep listeners.
Yes, we lock them inside the
People are
Text
like,
Me Back podcast.
Is this Saw? Please let us out of TBTL.
I'm taking notes.
Never. So, and we at Text Me Back podcast support dissociation. So if you want to dissociate from society, like, we want to help you do that too. So what we're going to try to do is, I mean, the show, it's not possible for any podcast to be apolitical. And if it is, that is a political choice in and of itself.
Yeah.
But to the extent that we might have like a big guest who comes on to explain like actually what's going on, because I know some things, but I don't know everything. And so,
you know a lot of things, Megan,
I know
because like
a fair number of things.
You and I, after you and Lindy and I were in Seattle doing my radio show, we went out afterwards. And you and I were talking about this stuff, and I was like immediately struck by how really like, deep your knowledge is of this stuff. So I mean that. I really do mean that. Like you know your stuff.
I have a lot of debt to show for it too. So subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/textmebackpod, and free me from the shackles of student loan debt. But anyway, so like one time we had United States Senator Jeff Merkley on our show. Like that sort of thing would live on Swamp Person. It's not going to be like a weekly thing, but just like a little extra something to help people contextualize what's going on, because this is like unprecedented times that we live in, and I do miss the precedented very much.
Yes.
Very much.
Who knew?
Yeah.
How much the precedented had going for it, at least for certain people.
For reals.
Luke and I have messed around with isolating content in the show because we like sports. So sometimes we would talk too much sports, and folks would say, hey, could you keep that for the end of the show? So we call that no point conversion. I believe a guest or a listener came up with that, which is one of my favorite titles of any little mini project. And we did that for Game of Thrones and stuff too. If you want people to embrace your political conversations more, I would recommend spending a week going deep on like Mariners bullpen decisions. Yeah. And then they will come racing back for the politics talk.
So we didn't get that deep, but during the Mariners playoffs run, which was still hurts me so much, so much, we talked about baseball a lot. Like, and
we did. Yeah,
we did. I was processing my baseball feelings, and Lindy was also there. and like,
says the person who looks like she's waiting for her stepdad to pick her up and take her to the game. I'm talking about Lindy West right now.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see what my hat says though.
Does it say baseball? Oh no, it says basketball.
It says basketball.
Okay, that's a different ball entirely.
It's a great look, by the way, Lindy.
You do look like you're about to go play t-ball for like Beacon Plumbing or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, and it went on for like 2 weeks, and then it was over, and then but we got quite a few comments on Spotify and the other podcast platforms being like, "Okay, girl, I think we've heard enough."
TBTL fully turned into a baseball podcast for about one solid month, and I'm talking 5 days a week. Like it was because, when you do shows like this, you're mostly just talking about whatever is happening in your life or whatever is occupying your mind at that time. And for for me and Andrew, certainly as the Mariners were like going through the playoffs, that was the only thing occupying our mind. So it's like very difficult to not like just end up talking about it every day for hours on end.
Do you feel that way about the Seahawks, or did you give up NFL? Because I gave up NFL, and now I'm being tested like I've never been tested before, because they're one game away from the Super Bowl. As you guys know.
Andrew started low-keying his NFL because he volunteers at a pop-up that serves food and coffee to folks who are unhoused on Sunday. Yes.
How you like
my
that?
friends? Not all heroes wear capes, and so he kind of sort of stepped back, which actually was like very inspiring. And I then stepped forward to make up for him, and now I'm watching for two. I'm watching so hard.
The other side of that coin is, guess who already talked to his fellow volunteers and took this Sunday off of his volunteering gig, so he can watch the championship.
I think I'm going to watch. I'm a little bit scared. I'm really stressed. This is what we talked about on our show, at the risk of recreating this all over again on your show. Is I'm a really stressed sports watcher. I feel personally involved. I feel like the decisions I make on game day affect the outcome of the game. Like, am I wearing the right shirt? Am I wearing the right hat? Am I paying attention enough? Am I paying attention too much? Because if I get too excited, that will also potentially negatively impact the game. And I would like to share a memory from before I knew you, Luke. I remember I must have been living in DC at the time, and Lindy texted me and was like, "Oh, my friend invited me to the NFC Championship game. I guess he has an extra ticket in this box." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are you gonna go?" And she's like, "No, I don't care about that at all." And I was like, "What?" Meanwhile, I'm in my kitchen in my Richard Sherman jersey or whatever. And I was like, "You have to go. What the fuck are you talking about?" And she's like, "Yeah, my friend Luke." And I was like, "Who's Luke? He has an extra ticket?" I was like, "What time is the get? Can I come? Can I fly 5 hours and get there in time?" She's like, "No." And I'm not going to go either. I was like, "Well, did anyone take the ticket?" She's like, "I don't think so." And then it ended up being like one of the greatest football games ever played, not just like in the history of the Seattle Seahawks, but potentially in the entire NFC. Lindy, Jesus Christ, I think about it all the time.
And Lindy, you, well, actually, do you know, and for the real heads, this will be a funny update. Do you know who did take one of the tickets? Daniel Savage.
Did he really?
Yup.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was literally like I think Alaska Airlines had this box, and I think I was, for the people that worked in their marketing department at the time, and I remain a very small micro celebrity, getting more micro as the years go on. But they were like, we need to try to get some local Seattle heat in our fancy box. We'll ask Luke, but we'll also like kind of let him know that we really need him to invite some people that are more famous than him.
Sure.
So I reached out to Lindy, Ken Jen, who came, Dan Savage. Nice. I'm trying to remember who else, but it was a motley crew in that box.
Let me check my messages. I can't remember if I
from 2014
got that call or not.
So you didn't invite me because you wanted to spend time with me as your friend?
I really wanted to spend time with you, but I wanted to spend time with you as my friend and as a friend who would maybe tweet about it.
Hashtag ad, hashtag Alaska Air Partners.
Hashtag caught in the middle. I was trying to keep Alaska Airlines happy. I was trying to get to see the game in the box. I had a lot going on.
Was it fun? I have the vaguest memory of being asked.
This game.
It was, and text me backers, get ready to email in about how unrelatable this content is. But it was an extremely exciting end to the game that the Seahawks did win. If I remember right, we had a full life-size cutout of Richard Sherman, the Seahawk, like a cardboard cutout.
Nice.
In the box for some reason, which we then stole and walked through after the game, a totally jubilant crowd of people who were all just high-fiving a cardboard Richard Sherman.
Well, for Lindy's awareness, because you might not know, Richard Sherman kind of single-handedly saved the game for the Seahawks.
I vaguely remember this. Yeah.
I still have his post-game interview memorized. We don't need to get into that, but open your mouth.
Let's hear it.
About the
let's
best.
hear it. I want to hear
Let's hear it.
Open your mouth about the best. LOB. Who was talking about you? Crabtree. Would you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree? That's the result you're going to get. Anyway, I think about it all the time.
I can't believe your listeners don't want more of this.
I know, this is amazing.
Megan, have you considered a third vertical, which is just your Richard Sherman impressions? Because I would become a power user of that.
Did
you and Andrew would be my top and only subscribers.
100%. And maybe Richard Sherman.
And
Maybe,
donors.
yeah.
Luke, is this also the game where you ended up on Brock Heward's shoulders at one point? Or
No,
that he didn't end up on yours.
That might have been the same game. It was a very tense season, and there's a kind of a local Seattle sports guy, Brock Heward. He was like a quarterback for the college team, and now he's like a sports broadcaster.
Quite handsome for his
We were in
time.
one of those. Oh man, I got stories. One, I asked his wife out in college when I didn't know that they were engaged. She was in my geology class at the UW, and I had a large crush on her. And I wouldn't probably do this now, but like the professor, it was called Rocks for Jocks. And the professor sent out an email, but didn't know about BCC or like, you didn't know how to do like, he sent an email to the whole class that had every single person's email address on it.
Oh.
And I found her email address and I sent her a message respectfully, just said, hey, and she was a basketball player for the UW too. And I was sort of like, hey, I think you're swell. If you ever want to get a cup of coffee, let me know. Total crickets. And then like a week later,
then
I read
said,
in the,
aw, shucks. I believe.
I read in the UW Daily that like she and Brock Heward were engaged, and because he was also in the class, which I didn't think was related to that her being there. But after one of these really exciting football games from that season that we're talking about, Brock and I were hugging and spinning in like a dervish. We were so excited at the end of the game. His wedding ring flew off
And you
in the
swallowed
luxury
it.
box. It went right into Dan Savage's mouth. No. It could not, if I remember right, it could not be located for, I think, maybe a while, maybe that night. And he had to go home to this gal who I had once tried to ask on a date and
that's
explain
when
that
you
he had
made your move.
He had lost his, exactly. Checkmate, Brock. He had to try to explain to her why he didn't have his wedding ring because he had been spinning around like a dervish with me celebrating the Seahawks.
Somehow his wedding ring fell off.
Right?
Whoopsie.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, that was my first memory of Luke Burbank, even though I didn't know you. But, that's okay.
I'll take
Next
that,
time.
even though Lindy turned down the request.
I'm honestly surprised that I did, because even though I didn't care about football, I liked doing stuff back then.
How about this? Again, my star has really, I'm like an actual star. I burned out 8 years ago, but the light hasn't reached the earth yet. So nobody knows it. But if I ever get another invite, Lindy and Megan and Andrew, you're on the list. This is the
Thank
core
God.
group,
Okay,
okay?
finally.
Great.
Jesus.
We made
I've been
it.
waiting my whole life for this.
Right.
absolutely.
This is the
Made
core
it.
group.
I went to a party recently, Andrew. I meant to tell you about this, and I rolled up, and for some reason I had decided I sort of bought these boots that I've been wearing lately that are pretty involved to lace up. I'm trying to mix it up from just my normal like white sneakers look, and I got to this get together, and to my horror, I hadn't even opened the door. This was at someone's house I don't know particularly well. I looked through the little glass of the door, and the first 3 people I saw did not have their shoes on.
Oh.
And this was very far from where I live. This was hours from where I live. And I just was like, I froze, and I thought like, did anybody make me? Could I duck down and get out of here? And then I opened the door and I realized some people had taken their shoes off out of courtesy, and at least one person hadn't. And that was all I needed, was to have one other person validating my decision. And so I shoesed on it.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot on the show, and I'm not saying that I'm right about this or that I have any kind of justice to stand on, but like I'm old now. I'm like 49, and like increasingly sort of set in my ways and cranky and other things that people love about me and find attractive. And one of the things that I say now is like, if you live in a shoes off house where you throw shoes off parties, like, I don't want to say that you're wrong to do that in any way. Of course you're not. But I am going to straight up say, no, I don't go to shoes off parties anymore. Like, I'm just going to be honest about it. Like, I don't like socializing with my shoes off, unless it was some sort of a beach blanket bingo kind of situation, which I don't see myself at those either.
It's happening constantly.
Like, right, exactly. I did get your Evite.
Somebody raised Annette Funicello from the dead.
But like, I just feel like, well, listen, it might not make you like me anymore, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I'm busy. I have something at 4. I'm just going to say, I'm not really comfortable in that situation.
Are people putting that on invites? This is
No, you have to know the people. You got to know.
You have to visit their house under the cover of night weeks before the event and just do a little recon.
Yeah.
I see they're wearing shoes. It's safe.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of being grumpy, can I share a tiding? We don't have our song, but Lindy and I have it tidings. And mine's a real... Can we get Rooney up in here? Can we evoke the spirit of Andy Rooney? Yeah, not Sally.
Sure. Yeah, I actually have some audio for that if you'd like. If you just give me 1 second
I would.
Here. It might not be yours. We do a segment on my other podcast, which is about TV commercials. It's called After These Messages. We do a little segment on After These Messages where I complain about things. We call it Andy's Corner.
And now, a few minutes with Andy.
Old man, look at my life.
I consider myself to be an absolutely dead center, normal, average American. My opinion that a great many women have one thing in common. They spend too much time and money fooling around with their hair. I don't use foul language, and I don't like to hear anyone else use it either. It's a fancy bottle. I bet that bottle costs more than the water. When does a rainforest lose its virginity anyway?
All right, you're in the clear.
Why did he say that?
Going off about virgin rainforest.
Now I regret tying myself to the fate of Rooney. But can I just say one thing, by the way? I feel like Andy Rooney died, parentheses, question mark. And then I feel like they never named a new national
Rooney.
curmudgeon. Like they never, like, who is that? I want to be that. Who's going to be the curmudgeon laureate of the United States now that he's been dead for question mark? Is he dead? He's dead.
He is dead.
Okay.
He is dead. It's certainly not me, but what I have done weirdly as a job thing is done these commentaries for CBS Sunday Morning, which is kind of the the beginning part of that day of CBS programming.
Yes.
And what I found out really fast from doing these commentaries was that you become Andy Rooney so fast because what is an interesting take, it's not just like, hey, I had this the other day, it was really great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
No
only
one
interesting
cares.
take is what this is really grinding my gears, or I did one about you want to hear more Rooney than Rooney. This is when Twitch had been sold for $1 billion or something. I mean, this is years and years ago. I think it had been sold maybe to Facebook or Meta or somebody. And I was like, my mind was blown because I'd never been on Twitch. I didn't understand how big of a thing it was really going to be. I just knew it was a place you could watch other people play video games. And an actual line in my commentary was like, that's like watching someone else's paint dry.
Can I say I know about this because when I was in Wisconsin for the holidays, my mother-in-law and I watched your CBS This Morning about bagging your own groceries at the grocery store. I hate that too.
Isn't that Rooney though? I'm like, if they're gonna make us work there, we should get a discount.
I have the
It's
opposite.
so true though.
I know you're building towards something, but I am the opposite. I push the baggers away. I try to do it as politely as possible, but I always just say, I got it. And if they're like, no, I'd like to help, I'm like, I got a system. I have a system.
Andrew might be one of the world's great shopping, grocery shopping bag fillers. Has a system.
I've gotten compliments. It's the highest compliment you can get from the
a
cashier.
bagger?
Yes.
Nice.
I will say I don't like doing it, and I'm not good at the bag filling necessarily, but I do have this teacher's pet energy where, because people are always bad at doing the self-checkout, they're always breaking the machine and standing there motionless for hours on end, hovering over a like, and I do every time I do it, I'm like, oh, look at me. Like I am showing off. Like someone's going to be like, wow, she really knows how to work that machine.
Don't worry about me, Lindy. I have the PLU number for bananas memorized.
Yes.
4011, fucko. Okay, but here's my real one. Okay, so I had to go to downtown Washington on Sunday for an appointment, a salon appointment to get my mustache waxed. Okay, just in full transparency. I drive down there thinking this is not going to be a problem. It's Sunday. Okay, I'll just park somewhere on the street. And if not, I'll park in a parking garage. Perhaps you've heard of this invention. It's a garage where you can park your car. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I drive down there, no street parking. I'm like, fine, backup plan. I'm going to park this car in the parking garage. Also, I'm sorry that I drove. I should have just taken the train, but I didn't feel like doing that. Anyways, but all the parking garages are closed because none of the business boys needed to go to Washington, D.C. on Sunday because it's a weekend and they don't work on weekends, you know? So only like 3 parking garages in the whole city were open. And I'm like, fine, I'll just go into one of them. So I drive into one. It wasn't a parking garage. It was the budget rent-a-car return depot. So I said, oh no, this isn't a parking garage at all. Let me back up out of here.
Famously an easy thing to do at a rental car lot.
Yes, where all of the cars are triple parked.
And there are never weird spike teeth embedded in the concrete.
It was amazing. And all the budget guys got to watch me do this where I was like, have a good Sunday. And I drove off and I'm like, fine, whatever. So I'll go around the block and go to the other one that I saw. But of course, every other street is one way. I had to go like 7 blocks and then I turn back around and I drive back down the street. I'm like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm going to go into the parking garage. I go to the second one and it just doesn't work. It's not giving out tickets. Everybody's pressing the phone button for assistance and the person's just going, no. And so we all are leaving. So I'm like, fine, I'll go around the block again. Again, it's a whole situation because of the one-way street situation. So then I'm like, okay, I think I saw another one. I'm going to try to go into that one. And I remember there was a sign that said, just drive in. And I thought that was weird because what else would you do? What do you mean?
What else would you do?
What do you mean just drive in? What was the alternative? What are they doing at the other parking garages if not just driving in? But whatever, it's fine. At least I know it's open. So I go around the block and I go in. I just drive in. And as I drive in, the parking attendant runs out and he's waving his hands like, hey. And I was like, huh? Because there's no gate. There's no ticket to be seen. Okay, just drive in, they say. So I just drove in. He didn't like that. And he's waving his arms dramatically on the ramp like, ma'am. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? So I rolled down my window and I'm like, yes. And he's like, did you want to park here? And I said, yeah, I did. And he's like, okay, well, you have to pay with your phone. And I said, great. And I look up and I see there's signs everywhere with the QR code. I'm like, fine. I'm a veteran of the QR code wars, they call them. I'll just scan the fucking QR code. That's what the signs are here for. No, n'est-ce pas? Okay. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, you got to pay on your phone. I was like, okay. And I'm like, go to drive. And he's like, you have to give me your phone number. I was like, okay. So I give him my phone number. He's like, because I'm going to text you the link. Then you got to click the link and then you have to make an account. And he's like standing right next to my car with his little iPad texting me the link. And then I got to click the link and I'm making a whole account. I have to enter in my debit card. He's like, and then I say, and as I'm saying it, I could feel myself morphing like the Michael Jackson black and white video into Andy Rooney. And I say to him, seems like we should have just kept the ticket system. And he says nothing. He doesn't acknowledge my bitch ass at all. And I finally set up the thing and I was like, am I good? He's like, yeah, you're good. I go in. I could have done all of that from the QR code. I didn't need to be involved with him at all. And I just was sitting there thinking, in what way is that an improvement over the gate and the ticket system? This was the worst of both worlds. Because now I got to do the QR code thing, but with an assistant, like with a helper, while he stands by my car for an extra 7 minutes. Now the parking garage has to pay this guy for being a human QR code. Just bring back the gate and the ticket. What the fuck? Here's the worst part. I go and I drive down and there's no parking. All of the spots are blocked off. So I drive all the way down to P3 and I'm thinking, big whoop. I'll just take the elevator up. There is no elevator in this parking garage. I had to walk up 4 flights of stairs into some random lobby and walk out. And as the door was closing behind me, I'm thinking, I hope I'm
never
get
getting
back.
that car back.
I know. I just thought, I hope I can get back in that lobby because it's like a business lobby to a corporate building. I go to my appointment. I come back. They don't let me back in the lobby. They don't let me back into the lobby at all. The guy just looks at me like, hello, may I help you? And I was like, I guess
He was
not.
like, a lady did come through here earlier with a mustache, but you look totally different.
Do you know her? So I had to walk down the ramp, exposed, got my car, and then it says, just drive out. We'll just charge you. Just drive out. So I just drove out. I'm waiting by the way, for this man to chase me out to the road, demand that I just drive out with him involved, but he didn't. Then I get my receipt, and for less than 30 minutes of parking in this hellhole of a parking garage, $13.
Jeez.
I just would like to complain about that. Bring back the gate and the ticket, or let me use the QR code without having to interact with other human beings. Pick one.
I can't believe that guy really worked for the parking garage.
Yeah.
I thought where this story was going was this was a scam.
Or he just wanted your number.
Yeah.
Hello. Well, he was wearing a uniform. And he
That used
apparently
to be-
had the key to the parking garage. He opened it.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought you were just driving in. Like that used to be the hustle in like Seattle too, right? At those like diamond parking lots and stuff. You'd have a lot of folks that would kind of run up to you. They'd get a little blue jacket and then they'd come up and collect your money when you were parking and they didn't work there.
Oh, I've never heard
which
of that.
I found to be kind
So
of
smart.
a really smart and kind of like a charming old school scam.
I like that.
Like
Honestly,
I kind of was into it.
if I got by that, I'd be like, nice.
Right?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, especially if they put a little work into it and made a whole backstory and they were like, buongiorno, I am Antonio from the parking company.
From a Diamante parking garage.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, who's going to pay for the uniforms if not us rubes? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So anyway, so I just wanted to complain about that because I've been mad about it for 3 days. So
Your
thank
upper
you.
lip looks flawless, though. I
Thank
just want to tell
you.
everyone who's listening to this as an audio only product.
Thank
So
you
at
so
least it
much.
was worth it.
It was.
Megan, I want to say I love this pitch for you to be the new Andy Rooney
Thank
of
you.
America. Mandy Rooney, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And it occurred to me while you were talking that I think there's a role for me because you know who else has not been replaced is Willard Scott, who's celebrating the old people.
Oh my God, it's so
Yeah.
true. Every now and again only will a representative of Smuckers appear on the Today Show set to be like, here's an old guy. We used to get that every day. What happened?
I was getting updates on. I knew every old person in this country
Yes.
when I was a kid.
Yes.
I could name them all. Like they were like Pokemons. And
Yeah.
now I have no clue what they're getting up
I
to.
know. What happened to my 97-year-old Bulbasaur?
Andrew, you have gotten into, or at least around Thanksgiving, you were playing old Macy's parades, and they had Willard Scott in them still, right?
Yeah, that's one of my things. I didn't really grow up watching the parades that much, so it's not even that, like, the parade itself isn't a nostalgia hit for me, but the commercials certainly are. You know, I'm kind of obsessed with commercials, and also just anything that makes me feel like a safe little boy again. And so,
Oh yeah.
so instead of watching, and first of all, I also like to sleep late, so I'm not catching any of the actual live Thanksgiving Day parades, but I will dial up on YouTube. They have the full things, like 90 minutes, 2 hours or whatever. Just choose one from like the 80s and then watch all of the tie-ins for the toys, the toy commercials with the floats, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Masters of the Universe type of stuff. It's wonderful.
Andrew, I didn't realize you were a commercial enthusiast. Have I ever told you about that I'm advertising royalty?
No.
It's true.
What?
It's true.
My father was an ad copywriter, and he wrote, I hope that this is going to ring a bell with you. He wrote those Bartles and James commercials with the two old guys where one of
hell
them
yeah.
talks and one of them doesn't talk. Yeah.
Hell yes.
That was
I know
your
that.
dad,
Yes.
Lindy?
Yeah.
She's got a life-size cutout of the B&J guys.
I do. Frank and Ed.
Was
At-
he at
at
like
her house.
McCann Erickson, or where was he at in Seattle?
No, it was in LA. We lived in LA when
Oh.
I was little.
Oh.
At
didn't know
Daly
that.
and Associates was the
Wow.
agency
Yeah, I was
where
going
he
to say,
worked.
that's a big national campaign. I was like surprised that was
Yeah.
being handled at a little old Seattle.
That's
No.
huge.
So we lived in LA when I was 4 to 8. So before that, he did local stuff in Seattle. I believe he came up with the slogan for Washington Mutual, "A friend of the family."
So
that's a big time one.
He did also dress up as the creature from the Black Lagoon and play the piano on a float in Elliott Bay to advertise Ivers.
Wow.
Did he write "Keep Clam"?
It's possible.
Which I believe was the big Ivers
Keep Clam is
catchphrase
really
too.
good.
Keep Clam.
I've never heard him brag about that, so I don't know for sure. And now he gone. But I can ask my mom.
My favorite Paul West local hit is the Bob Byers Volvo jingle, which is just Bob Byers Volvo. And just the way he sings, it's very jazzy. Very
because he was a copywriter, but he was also a voice talent, and he was a musician, so he would write jingles, he would record the jingle, and he would do the radio ad.
Was that super cool for you as a kid, Lind, to hear, around Seattle? I would be so stoked about it. I just wanted my dad to get in the back page of Sign Maker magazine with one of his signs, and it didn't happen.
It was really cool, and nobody cared. But I was like, hey,
cared so much.
I was like, when you're listening to Cube 93, and then all of a sudden there's a commercial that tells you to recycle, and then a guy goes, "Recycling, it's easy to do." That's my dad. And everyone was like, I don't care.
Is anybody familiar with tradition to depend on Yonker Nissan?
Yonker Nissan.
So anyway,
remind me this, because I get these things conflated. I definitely remember the old guys. What are their names? Ed and what on the porch?
Frank.
Ed and Frank and Ed. But also you had Bruce Willis advertising a similar
Seagram's Golden Wine Coolers.
That was Seagram's. Okay, so it was not the same brand. So your dad was competing with Bruce Willis in a certain
I guess
way.
so.
Okay.
Yeah. And he never recovered. That's why he died.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry I brought it up.
Well, you know what? Those commercials, we were really obsessed in the early days of TBTL with the era where we were letting Bruce Willis's band just run amok.
Oh my
like,
God.
We were just treating it like it was a real thing.
And everyone was acting like it was not only normal, but great.
Yes.
Are you insane? Like, great news, everyone. Bruce Willis is here with his harmonica. And then the crowd would go, ah!
Yeah.
Yes! I was so hoping Bruce Willis would show up with his harmonica and do whatever the fuck it is he does with it. It was so weird.
Listen,
it was mental illness.
I'm sorry to both, as a man, cut you off and correct you, but I believe that was Bruno who was playing.
Don't even get me started on Bruno, because he was it. Didn't he have a whole album that was like the life and times of Bruno or some shit like that?
Yes, that might have been exactly what it was called.
Oh God, why would you say Bruno to me? I'm so unsettled at the memory of that. Oh my God. I want to say, has a cover of one of the best songs ever written, "Respect Yourself" by the Staple Singers, and it's hideous.
Wow.
And I want to say that it charted. What is wrong with what was going on? Ronald Reagan was putting drugs in the water, and everyone was like, "Let Bruno live. Let him cook."
Let him cook. I think the reason that you're also slightly confused, Andrew, is because those products, Bartles and James and Seagram's, close together, but then the commercials, the Bartles and James guys are often on their front porch, right? Or they're kind of wrap around. Yeah. And in the Seagram's Golden Wine Coolers, Bruce Willis starts out in a bar, and I believe the music is flowing through him with such vigor that he ends up outside on a porch, doing a whole shuffle. Like they were like, the commercials were very visually close to each other, except some of them were good, the ones Lindy's dad made, and some of them were bad, the ones that had Bruno in them.
That's right.
God. By the way, the name of the album is The Return of Bruno.
Oh yeah.
And on the cover, he's got his arms crossed and he's smirking like, Meh.
Yeah.
Return of Bruno. Just like you all been clamoring for, apparently.
When is Bruno going to return? Waiting for Bruno, right? Famously.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
And we have a show title. I don't know about
how
you guys.
How do we represent that I said Bruno like Gudo?
You put a T on the end.
Wow, Lindy, who's a professional writer now?
Right. No. Yeah. Oh, speaking of me being a professional writer, I have a segue into my tiding.
Go on.
I've written a book.
Oh,
Yeah, I've written book number 4 of mine. I've written 4 books.
is it
Amazing.
4?
And
I thought we were on 5. Well, this is so wonderful.
It's 5 if you count the little book the stranger staff made.
I don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
I've written my 4th solo book. It's called Adult Braces. It's coming out March 10th, but this is neither here nor there. I mean, it's here. It's here in that you should. Here you go. It's time to click on the pre-order link.
Absolutely.
Pre-orders, very important for authors to get on lists that cause other people to buy our books, apparently. Please pre-order my book. It's called Adult Braces. Thank you. But in the lead up to the book coming out, I have to do something called learn how to be an influencer, so that I can, because that's the only way you can get the information to the people, especially to the young people. Okay.
Should have come to that Seahawks game with me.
Dude, I regret it every day. I didn't remember about it at all, but now that I've been reminded, I'm retroactively ruining the day. Okay, so I have been making makeup tutorial videos. I've been making get ready with me videos. I've been doing story time. I'm doing it all. I'm about to start. I'm gonna make which chapter of my book are you based on your zodiac sign or whatever.
Oh, nice.
I'm getting in there and I'm doing the work. And actually, let me tell you, they're not lying. I made a book trailer, a 3-part book trailer. I posted the first one on Monday. Instant 4,000 new followers, which could be fake, but I was like,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I was like, oh, it really, they like it when you make the content.
Yeah,
and then
they do.
it rewards you. So now I'm hooked on the attention. And one of the upcoming videos I'm going to make, and here's where my tiding comes in, and that's also slightly a game. I'm going to do fantasy casting for the Adult Braces movie / TV show. So I need help deciding who's playing me. And I think we could do, since it's fantasy, it could be anyone alive or dead. And also since it's fantasy, we could pretend the 3 of you are in the book. You're not, but we could pretend you are.
What do I got to do to get in one of your books?
Well, you could marry me and then decide you want to be polyamorous.
Your thoughts?
I floated that.
That's what I was asking you to the NFC Championship game for. Jesus.
God damn it. Okay, no, but if you guys want to, so here's what I was thinking for myself. I need help. I need this to be, I need this to go viral. I was thinking, Margot Robbie in a fat suit for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or CGI.
Mm-hmm. Or Chris Farley. We could do.
That would be non-traditional casting.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, anyone have any other ideas? I could do maybe like the fairy godmother from Disney Cinderella.
You might want to think about somebody who's just has a lot of buzz right now.
Oh.
Yeah. And one person is that girl Odessa Azion, who is everywhere. I can't name a single thing she's in, but she's in all of my Bloids.
Do you know a single thing that her mom was in?
I know
right?
a single thing her mom was in, but then she changed her name to be Sneaky so that no one would know.
I think that's her dad's last name.
Well, but it's like a combo because the A is from Adwan, from Pamela.
Is that the girl who she has the curly hair?
Yes.
And everyone's like, she's doing blackface kind of.
Yes, even though I think she's just Mediterranean.
Yeah. Because I've been wondering who that is.
She's in Marty Supreme.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen it.
And her mom is Bobby Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her mom is the voice of Bobby Hill.
Pamela Adlon, the legend.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, okay, so maybe.
How about? Hey, do you know who Brittany Broski is?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Also, she's really funny.
She's really so funny. I mean, very flattering to me to be compared.
What
to
about
Brittany
Zendaya?
Zendaya is
available?
What about Timmy Chalamet?
Oh, he could do it. Method acting.
Meryl Streep,
He's got to
one of the
move
best.
He's got to move to the Olympic Peninsula for 2 years.
Okay, yeah.
Fully inhabit the role of Lindy West.
Okay, how about this? Meryl Streep as Lindy, Martin Short as a Hom.
Love it.
Thoughts?
Love it.
Mhm.
I love it.
And for Meagan, can we cast Teyana Taylor?
Why
we don't
not?
have anything in common. I just am obsessed with her. She's so beautiful.
Have you seen the Teyana Taylor My Sweet 16 though? And how do we feel about that?
I've seen clips. That's what
It's wild.
I
didn't realize
she's
she must have been. I would have never thought. First, I didn't know anything about her sort of growing up years before she was acting and everything. But like, yeah, the fact that she clearly grew up in a family that had the means to do like an over the top Sweet 16, and then I'm sure this is MTV making her act extra demanding. That's the premise of the show. But then that person who's kind of like really has very specific ideas about their super Sweet 16 ends up being a phenomenal actor.
I know.
That's the part that's shocking to me.
She's had such a character arc to go from, I mean, I've never heard of such a thing for someone to go. Well, I mean, I guess in a sense, the first person who came to mind was like Jennifer Lawrence was on not Larry the Cable Guy, but one of the other rednecks.
Right.
Well, Theo Vaughn was on Road Rules.
Sure.
The Gauntlet.
Yes. And Sean Duffy was on Real World Regular. But anyways, like Jennifer Lawrence went from one of the rednecks sitcoms to winning an Oscar. So like that's kind of weird too. You never know what people get up to. You know, and apparently, by the way, apparently Brie Larson was a pop star and now she's a respected actress. It's so strange what they want us to forget about their pasts.
Okay,
Lindy, are you filming all of your influencer videos, posts, whatever, either sitting in your car or eating a bag of something? Because this seems to be exceedingly popular in my feed.
Yeah. I'm also doing a lot. Yeah, I sit in my car. I get like a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Nice.
I take a bite. I go, wait, why is this low-key fire? That's most of what I do.
Is Grimace available to play you?
Oh, good idea.
Get Grimace.
Okay.
I want the Hamburglar to play me.
Okay, wait, who was I a minute ago? I'm Meryl Streep in the Grimace suit.
Yes.
Aham's Martin Short. Zendaya is Roya.
Yes.
Meagan is Teyana Taylor in the Hamburglar outfit.
Nice.
Yes.
Luke, I guess I'm hearing Jennifer Lawrence.
Sure. I love it.
Andrew is Timmy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
makes
that's
sense.
solved.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
That's the cast of Temple of the Dog, the movie.
A pre-order adult braces everywhere you get your books.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
They say don't judge a book by the cover, but I haven't had a chance to read the book, but I have seen the cover and it is a phenomenal cover and it makes me want to read the book.
It's a really good cover.
Really, really good.
Possibly the best book cover ever made, I think, is what they're
Who
saying.
is the artist who
what I'm
did
hearing.
that?
Her name is Sarah Deck, D-E-C-K, and she is incredible. I didn't meet her or talk to her, but my publisher sent me a couple of options, and I was like, "Ooh, I like her," and then it's also the portrait of me is based on a photograph of me that Jenny Jimenez took, who is my friend, who also photographed Megan's wedding and my wedding.
She sure did. Yeah. I won Jenny Jimenez in a charity auction. And then she took all my pictures. Yeah. And then she took a bunch of my other friends' pictures too. So I'm very happy to have met her. She's a gem.
Those ones that you published in your newsletter were amazing. Your guys' newsletter is so good. Obviously.
Well, it was your idea.
It was your idea.
It was TBTL's idea. You guys were like, oh, we do this. You guys should do this too. And we're like, okay, we'll just copy you guys.
Yeah.
And we did a pledge drive.
But how was I supposed to know you could write so well?
Yeah. And don't copy us to the degree that no one who has Gmail can get your newsletter anymore, because that's the current status of the TBTL newsletter.
About
only 5% of the American public can currently receive it.
About 3 newsletters ago, I accidentally included a link that was fine, but for some reason was flagged by the internet police. And now I am flagged by the internet police, at least on the Gmail side of things. And every time I send out a newsletter, it's going directly to people's spam folders. And not just that, it is saying that, like, you cannot trust this person. This sender, it literally says this sender has attempted to grab people's personal information, which is absolutely untrue. If you have an iPhone, which I don't, but I have friends who do, showed me what it looks like. Next to my name is a logo with a little fishing hook.
Devastating.
Yeah, so I'm not going to write it anymore.
They said you're Tiana Taylor dressed up as the Hamburglar.
Burgle some personal data.
Yeah.
You're the Italian trying to steal my money at the Diamante parking lot.
Andrew, was that your tidings?
Sure, I guess
that
so.
you're the internet's number one information pilferer.
Nobody trusts me. I'm actually excited. Are you trying to get into what you've brought to the table, Luke? Because we need to talk about this. I've been having this conversation with you in my head for 2 days.
Well, here's the question. I don't know what Meagan and Lindy's timeline is. It's a different time back there in Washington, District of Columbia. So we have a few different directions we can go, and I want to give everyone options. One is hat talk, because there's been a couple of different. I worry that this one, because there's audio, we'll all have thoughts. There's a lot to say about that. That's the long version. The short version is we could talk about the fact that people are doing snake yoga in Portland.
I just read about that.
And the third option is that we could all just call it a day.
No, I'd love to keep chatting. I have a thought about Rob Lowe's hat interview, but it sounds like, but I don't know. I feel like maybe snake yoga is more spiritually connected to our show.
What do you think, Lindy?
I've been wearing a hat for
an
hour and a half.
All right. We're talking hats in a little segment that we like to call Hats Entertainment. Once again, raising the question, will an instrumental version of the Judy Garland song, That's Entertainment, get us pulled down in parts of Eastern Europe?
Yes.
Does it contain enough of the DNA of the real song to get us in trouble and further besmirch Andrew's good name on the internet? So for many years, Andrew and I have been referencing, maybe not many years, but for kind of a good while, we've been referencing this photo of Rob Lowe at an NFL game where he's wearing a hat that just says NFL.
It's the best.
It's just so beautiful, and it's so kind of scans with the way that I am. I did once sit at the Alaska Airlines lounge next to Rob Lowe and his wife. They seemed very nice and normal. I didn't talk to them or bother them, but I will just admit to not having a strong sense of like what Rob Lowe's personality is like outside of him doing the Adkins commercials for like Atkins shakes and stuff, which kind of doesn't make me think he has a good personality. It kind of makes me think he's just like a kind of a weird creation of trying to stay skinny and like have taut skin or whatever. Like I have all these preconceived ideas about Rob Lowe, and they were confirmed when I saw him wearing a hat that said NFL, because he was at a game, and like who's wearing a hat that just says NFL, and that has become memeified now, to represent like a person who is not very committed to anything, who has no backbone and who doesn't have any real rooting interest, is just there. I'm not gonna tell the listeners that Lindy just pointed at herself, because you do have a backbone, my friend.
I do, but I'm non-committal and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah,
that is true. Well, Rob Lowe was on Rich Eisen's show, and was like asked by this Rich Eisen show. I really like, actually. Like, it's one of the last bastions of kind of, I don't know, when sports, when you didn't have to yell as much, when it was like the takes were not quite as hot, which was fine for me. The takes are too spicy. I have a very sensitive mouth area that can't take the spiciest of takes. So Rich Eisen was asking him like about this hat situation, this NFL hat. And this was Rob Lowe's, let me get a little volume going here. This was Rob Lowe's answer.
What is the story behind that hat?
The hat was, they gave me a choice of hats to wear. I was at the game, so it was a Fox game.
Yes, sir.
I had a show premiering on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, would you go for promotion? We'll cut to you in the audience.
Okay.
And so they're like, here's a hat. And they were all like these loud, half one team on one side and half the other team on the other. And like, super.
This, by the way, was when Rob Lowe really started to win me over.
Yes.
Me too. I can't wait to talk about
this.
that,
Megan, that era of those like crazy hats, kind of like maybe, I don't know, late 90s or something.
Yeah. He started winning me over because he's going to say the best part in a second, but like, to me, like what you just described about this NFL hat is like somebody who's like, doesn't really believe in anything. And it kind of gives the vibe of, I guess I just hope everyone has a nice time. But in my opinion, wearing a hat with two teams mashed up is worse. That's that
way
guy
worse.
more
Way
than
worse.
if you just wore the NFL hat. Like that would have been disgusting. And he would have been memeified in some other more rotten way. So I would just like to foreshadow that I think he made the right call. If we're going to play the rest of the audio.
We are.
Okay, great. But this is where because I just started to think, like, I was like you, Luke, where I was like, the main thing I know about Rob Lowe's personality is that he wore the NFL hat. And I thought he did that because that was the type of person that he is. You know what I mean?
It's so, I think it confirmed all of our priors on who we thought Rob Lowe was.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? All right, here's more Rob Lowe.
Super busy and like those special game hats are just bad.
Yeah.
And then there's this one simple NFL hat, which I'd never seen before. I'd never seen that hat before.
Usually, I don't normally when you see something like that, it's
a ref.
Right, and it's white.
And I'm like, oh, that looks like I'm definitely going to wear that simple thing.
Damn straight.
And people, it's become a meme of someone who is agnostic to everything. If you're just like, hey, go teams.
Yeah. Go teams. What game was that, by the way?
And this is another thing, too. Rob Lowe remembers what the game was, which is kind of like, again, it also means he was conscious of what was happening around him, you know, like not just like, I don't know, it was two teams. It was like he knows who the teams were and stuff. And then later, Rich Eisen asks if he can have the hat, and Rob Lowe is like, no, I'm giving it to the Smithsonian.
Yes.
So
like,
funny.
This is really, really forcing me to rethink my thoughts about Rob Lowe.
I think what's interesting about it is like one of the reasons I think the meme was so popular and so successful as a meme is that he really seemed like the kind of guy who doesn't really give a shit about football. He's there because somebody asked him to be there, and he wore an NFL hat. And he's standing there kind of almost robotic in the photo. And it's just a still photo, so who knows how animated he was before or after somebody took that screen grab. But then for him to be like, I remember exactly who was there. I was having a great time. It was like, I think it was like the 49ers and somebody else. And it was like a playoff game. And he like remembers it. He was like, I was having a great time. I don't want to wear an ugly hat. And I'm like, who is this person? Like, I thought that you did that because you are agnostic about everything. Go teams. I thought that.
And he also, I mean,
deal.
if you think about his character on Parks and Rec, I don't know if y'all watch a lot of Parks and Rec, but it's like comedically, he's very much leaned into the, I think, the idea of who we all think he is. And it's wild to me to think that Rob Lowe may have been at least a little bit in on the joke.
That really blew my mind. And then at the end, when Rich Eisen asked for the hat, and he was like, what? No, this is like my greatest contribution to society is this hat meme. It's so funny. I'm going to give it to the Smithsonian. And then he's like offers to lend it. Like a museum, he'll lend it to Rich Eisen, and Rich Eisen wants to put it next to the cell phones from Wall Street or whatever. And I was like, don't disrespect the hat like that. And then also there's like this interesting part where Rich Eisen's like, will you sign it? And he's like, well, I don't I mean, he's like, I'll sign the inside, but I don't want it to be on the outside. That would ruin the hat.
And he said it would ruin the look. Yes.
Yeah, like ruin the whole point of the hat, which is that it's nothing.
It's not busy. Exactly. I can't think of so I hadn't had the chance to talk to anybody about this, but all three of us, and Lindy, I don't know how, are you in on this as well? You were familiar with the whole thing.
The NBA gave her that hat that says basketball. She's wearing.
But this is so much more appropriate than I even realized.
Yeah.
I donned this blank hat that we got. It was supposed to say TBTL on it, but I got a blank one. So
I love that. Now everyone is wearing a hat, but me.
It's I can't think of a better story or another example of such internet redemption.
Yes.
Like that thing was so omnipresent. It became the first thing, as one of you already said, the first thing I thought of when I thought of Rob Lowe. And I found this 90-second clip so damn relatable immediately. We've all had this. I don't know how far this will range as it makes the rounds. Oh, what are you doing up there? What do you got?
I went and got my little hat. And
is that a tiny? Is it a tiny husky hat or a tiny Washington D.C. hat?
I would like to tell you the unfortunate tale, which is, well, first of all, it is a little hat that you put your ice cream in.
Yeah.
You get your little sundae in it at the game. And I live in Washington, so occasionally I go to Nationals games. And,
we lost the hat.
But the hat fell, and I root for them if I have to. But they're a National League team, so usually there's no crossover between the Mariners and the Nationals. So I will occasionally support the Nats, and I got this little ice cream sundae tiny batting helmet, and so that's the hat I'm wearing.
Was it ice cream or was it Dippin' Dots in there?
It was absolutely ice cream.
Okay,
we don't mess around with Dippin' Dots.
How God intended it.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so the other story in hat news today is, or as it's called sometimes, Hats Entertainment, involves Billy Bob Thornton and his particularly unique look. And we on this show have really disliked Billy Bob Thornton and his work for years and years, ever since he yelled at that one Canadian radio host,
John Gomeshi,
who had his own set of problems.
Got canceled. Yeah,
that is true. I believe those were unrelated events. But
well, we don't know.
Two people can be bad.
Billy Bob had an axe to grind.
But right. Maybe he knew something. But that the interview went viral where Billy Bob Thornton wanted to just talk about his band. I believe they're called the Boxmasters.
Oh, Jesus.
And not talk about his acting career. And this guy interviewing him on the CBC made the mistake of, in a very, if I remember right, pretty delicate way, trying to mention the fact that this guy who's in here with this band that nobody's heard of is also turns out a person who won an Oscar for acting or whatever. And he went off on him. And that was that didn't win him any points with us. And then also just his kind of, so, it's like you start off with this particular idea of this person being totally humorless about themselves and just kind of somebody I'm not a huge fan of necessarily. And then you see the getup that he wears oftentimes in public, like this hat situation where he's got a kind of a, it'll be like a beanie sometimes or a tighter, not like a do-rag, but something kind of smaller and more low profile. And then he'll have this big felt hat kind of sitting sort of jauntily on top of it. And then he's got these loops in his ears. It's just a whole situation. So every time I see that, it just makes me, this was before he started starring in these really ridiculous cell phone commercials that Andrew and I love to make fun of.
Can I say something about that just really quick? I'm so sorry. First of all, I feel like Trump won an election with the slimmest margin in American history, right? And as a result, all media has been redirected towards whatever the fuck that is, whatever the Yellowstone,
the landman, axis of evil,
of the land guy in low slung old pants. You know what I mean? And he's and by the way, this man's wearing a piece, and I just feel like
it's not a good one. Rip Torn called. He wants his rug back.
Hello, it's so inauthentic to the Big Sky Montana vibe he's trying, or whatever, Texas, whatever. And he's where am I, anyways? And it's so obnoxious and so stupid. And then you know what happened?
They got Rushmore in on it.
They fucking
Luke Wilson
to start doing them for AT&T or whatever. I was no one voted for this. No one voted for two different Big Sky landmen walking around kicking rocks talking about You'll never guess where I am. I'm at the pancake store at the gas station.
I'm Luke Wilson. I'm staring at a scoreboard that I keep deep in the interior of my Texas property that tracks cell phone reliability. I've taken out binoculars to look at that, which is part of one of the ads.
Vis-a-vis the hat, he's walking around looking like a Coachella influencer, except he's 950 years old. So the vibe is unsettling, to say the least.
It's a real like Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
Meets
well, Lindy,
Norma Desmond kind of.
That's an exceptionally, Lindy. That is a perfect segue into this actual tape.
Oh, good.
Here in the Hats Entertainment segment.
Is he doing
of the
an
show.
accent? Tell me he's not doing an accent.
He's being interviewed on a CBS This Morning, not to be confused with my beloved show, CBS Sunday Morning.
I was going to say.
Even though CBS This Morning did steal all of our branding, which we were very sad about.
Oh.
They took the Sun. Because like CBS Sunday Morning had good ratings. And so CBS This Morning was not having great ratings. And so they borrowed all of the everything that indicates visually the show on Sunday. And now they use it 5 days a week. That's fine. I'm not bitter about it. But he's being interviewed. He's promoting Landman. And he's being interviewed by, it's like Gayle King, Nate Burleson, by the way, Pride of Seattle.
Yeah.
O'Day High.
Get into it.
Absolutely. I love Nate Burleson. I did think I would be one of the more famous TV people from the Metro Leagues, but that is not how that has worked out.
Not this time, buddy.
No, not this lifetime. Not in this part of the multiverse. It's Nate Burleson's. But, and then a guy named Vladimir Duthier, I think is his name.
I was just wondering what happened to Vlad. Oh, he's still in the mix.
Or he's a CBS This Morning guy now.
Love him.
So they're interviewing Billy Bob Thornton about Landman, and this is the thing, Lindy, you're referencing pirates. This is all at the very beginning of this. I was like, don't do this to me, Billy Bob Thornton. Don't actually have a sense of humor about yourself, you son of a bitch. He's talking about how much he likes being in Landman.
Okay, go ahead. I'm so sorry to interrupt. The show's actually called Landman, or are you doing a bit?
No, it's called Landman.
Oh, God.
Are you not inundated with ads
Megan,
for Landman?
It's literally the most popular show on television in America.
Is it part of the extended Yellowstone universe?
It is.
Okay, that's
it's a
why.
Taylor Sheridan production.
I let all of that exit my brain hole immediately.
As well you should.
Yeah.
As well you should.
Yeah.
So he's on there talking about Landman, and he's talking about how he likes being in the show because he gets to just be himself. And he starts to say, they don't have me, they don't make me dress up in some pirate suit. And then he realizes that he looks like a pirate and he starts making fun of himself just ever so briefly for looking like a pirate. Take a listen.
Dress up like I started to say go dress up like a pirate, but I do.
People shall remain nameless, but they said Billy Bob is here. He's got the pirate look going. I mean, what is the look that you go for? Because really, it's very unique to you, too. Not many people can pull this off.
By the way, extremely well positioned by Gayle King. She's not saying even he can pull it off.
Yeah.
She's saying, what are you going for with your look? It's not something a lot of people can put off, including you, Mr. Bob Thornton.
Well, I've always, first of all, these boots had dirty there.
Yeah.
I got these boots in Telluride, Colorado in 1996.
Wow.
And they look like tire treads.
Talk about high quality. They look great stuff. They look amazing.
By the way, Vladimir is so thirsty for Billy Bob's approval in this. I would say there's about 3 more times where Billy Bob is talking about a piece of clothing that clearly doesn't work, and all we hear is Vlad interjecting, but it works. But it works. And we are get a little bit of that from Gayle, too. I think Nate Burleson wants no part of this conversation.
No.
I don't think we hear him once, which is why he's a good broadcaster.
He's a good broadcaster, and he's actually handsome and well-dressed. He doesn't want to have his legacy stained by whatever Billy Bob is doing.
Precisely.
Yeah. Okay. I wear them in weather like this, but I wear women's size 6 Levi's. That's
okay.
What?
Hello?
Way to break down whatever your preconceived notions about Billy Bob's, attempts at masculinity. He doesn't see that as a challenge to his masculinity.
Okay.
I mean, good for him.
Right. And also, Gayle King it takes her a minute to let that sink in that he's wearing size 6. She says something. Well, I'll let you hear it, and then we can try to interpret what she means by this.
Size 6?
Yeah.
Oh, Billy.
And then...
Oh, no.
What do you think that "oh, Billy" means?
I think she's worried about him. He's too little.
Yeah, that's a pretty small male.
He's too small.
Oh,
yeah.
By the way, a lady size 6, he couldn't have just said, waist 28 or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's such a choice. And I feel like he's trying to brag. It's so weird.
Okay.
It's a weird. Sorry, Andrew.
Not to jump ahead to my final analysis of this, but the fact that you just said that's a choice, I think that is quite literal. I think it was a choice coming into this interview that he was going to do this whole thing.
Say that.
He is an actor, and he knows that he can win us over by acting like somebody who's not an asshole.
Yeah.
And I think he was ready to talk about his fit.
Don't you
It's
think
sad.
though that like if he's truly the person who we think he was from the Q interview on the CBC, which is a kind of a very unself-aware, very kind of rude person, would that same person be able to then talk about the fact that they look like a pirate and that they're wearing, size 6 jeans of the gender they don't identify, et cetera?
He brought it up. That's my whole point. And I went back that John
Well, no,
Gomeshi
Gail brought it up, right?
No, he brought up, he's the one who interrupted himself mid-word pirate. To bring up his own looks. And I feel like, and so first of all, you guys should know where I'm coming from on this. Like that.
Andrew wears a size 7 women's jeans. He's been trying to get down to size 6 for years. And it friggin' eats at him.
For you.
Billy B and me have been in the competition and hearing that I'm slightly behind. No, I mean, those types of things. Bruce Willis did it once with his co-lead actor on the movie Red, I want to say, or something like that.
When he was really rude to that interviewer.
I get really, really defensive when these big shot Hollywood types come in and talk down to, or in Billy Bob's case, like actually kind of like really almost harass the interviewer by kind of displaying their gap in sort of social power, cultural power, or whatever. And while Gomeshi has his own issues, like in that case, I have internalized how much I hate him so much from his poutiness from that moment. So I went back and watched that today just to make sure, just to get my anger up and to revisit this. And I'm just sort of thinking like, yeah, Billy Bob comes off as super charming in this and very likable, but he's also a really good actor. As much as I kind of don't like him, I think he's a really good actor. And I think in this case, he decided I'm going to come on and I'll accidentally bring up my little fit and I'll make it a thing and I'll be super charming about it.
Good use of little fit.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, that's my take on the whole thing.
I have a question. Do we think there's any possibility that he's doing like a galaxy brain high level marketing move? Because it's like the real Americans who watch Landman.
Yes.
The guy who stars in Landman is not a pirate wearing women's jeans.
Right.
And so it's like he needs to maybe try to reach some of the woke mind virus Americans by being like, see, I'm like you. But then the other people who do like Landman but don't like a gay pirate will say he's so good look how good at acting he is, because in real life he's that guy in the women's jeans, but then in Landman he's a testosterone soaked, T-bone
whatever
steak.
happens on Landman. I feel like at the very least, I think what he's learned, he had to teach himself how to be self-deprecating or whatever version of that is in this, and maybe that was a result of this disastrous Gian Gomeshi. By the way, I was also on his radio show once, and then when he got canceled, I was like, oh my god, ugh.
I was at a public radio conference where there was a get together afterwards, and he was there and weirded out our intern. Years before, obviously, like the S really hit the fan, but and I don't think anything substantive happened there, except it was just kind of like, that's a strange thing.
You got to trust your instincts, girlies.
Absolutely.
That's what we're saying. Anyways, I just feel like you don't go onto a morning show wearing a wool scarf as an ascot and a disco collar shirt open and a do-rag underneath a red velvet Dave Navarro hat from Ink Master and then take yourself too seriously. I feel like this was all choices. Everyone a choice. And I think that I feel a little bit like Lindy. Like, I feel like he's like, okay, we've already captured the elderly people who watch CBS. Let me try to get a couple woke or 2. I don't know. Just let them know I wear women's jeans. That'll really win them over. That'll really win over the coasts.
He opened up a can of whoop up on my heart.
No, I forgot about whoop up.
Because I think I bought this hook, line, and sinker. What is wrong with me? I'm so naive. I mean, I'm hearing what you all are saying, and I'm tending to agree with you. I very much fell into the trap of thinking, oh, this guy maybe is actually like not as much of a little turd as I thought he was from that other interview.
You don't wear Dave Navarro's cast-offs like that unless you have
it's
a plan.
Carmen Electra.
Maybe not everyone fits into a neat box, you guys.
Wow.
So you're saying it's not just good or bad? Would you say it's more like 6'7" or?
Oh boy, my stincts say this is just like a chaotic guy who is annoying. But like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Because like an annoying person can sometimes be charming. I just feel like this man is pickled in showbiz. And so he does whatever he wants and he thinks that whatever he does is a great idea.
Oh,
you know
boy,
what I mean?
is he pickled.
I think that's
He's pickled, sister.
I think that's such a perfect description, Lindy, of exactly what happens to these folks.
I support my colleagues' analysis that it's all choices. I think both. I think NFL. I think go teams.
Mm-hmm.
He did say that the reason he does that weird double hat thing, and remember, the segment's called Hats Entertainment. We have to always bring it back to that.
Right.
Yep.
Is because he really liked this like skull cap little thing that he got from some designer guy. But then he said, and then he's like, yeah, I put on this little like ski cap thing. And then Vladimir goes, it's working. And then he goes, yeah, but Billy Bob has to correct him and go, yeah, but if it's just wearing that, I look like a pinhead. So then I thought I'd put this other hat on top of it. And then I think at that point, Gail realizes that they've spent far too much time talking about the fashion, and she hard pivots into an unrelated
Gail's
topic.
like, I don't even have to work. Like, why am I here?
Exactly. So
this is
like
nonsense.
If it makes you look pinhead, what do you like about it? Sounds like you don't like it.
If you immediately have to cover it with, as Megan has called it, a Navarro job.
This is a too obvious thing to say, and I apologize for being so pedestrian. But if you haven't seen the, I think you should leave sketch where they parody the Gameshi interview. It's
a cosmic gumbo.
It's the one where Santa Claus stars in the action movie, and then they show him doing press, and the guy mentions him being Santa Claus, and then he flips out.
Yes.
That's so funny. I did not connect those dots, but that's obviously.
He's like, I said no questions about being Santa Claus. I'm here to talk about my acting.
By the way, R.I.P. to that guy.
Oh, that's right. He passed away recently. That's why I feel like there's like an alternate universe where Billy Bob walks into some interview and somebody has the gall to ask him about his outfit or his little hats. And he says, you wouldn't say that to Tom Petty, would you? And like he would just decide that he's going to be a total jerk about that. Right. So that's what kind of bugs me.
I agree with you, Andrew. And I think that goes to Lindy's point, which is like, and I bet you that there's a lot of people, a lot of these Hollywood stars that are like this, where they've just been pickling in it for so long. It's been working for them, regardless of if like they even understand why it's working. And so everything to them that they're thinking seems like a good idea in the moment. And sometimes that ends up being charming and nice. And sometimes it ends up being totally unhinged. And they can't even tell you the difference.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think that tracks. He looks cold. That's the last thing I'll say. I wish him.
Billy.
I wish him. Some woolly socks, and
per Gail, he needs to bulk up. He's too small.
Exactly.
He's too little. She's worried.
I'm realizing a structural design of my little home studio here in Southern Washington, which is if we're ever trying to record at this time of day and it's the weird, nice day in the wintertime, it's absolutely impossible for me to see what's going on.
Watching you suffer right now is unfortunately very funny to me. It's just it's like a rectangle of bright ass sunlight just where your eyeballs are. It's like nowhere else in your room. It's so funny to me. It's so funny to me.
I did not even know this was a possibility. So
I'm obsessed.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was having the same problem during the first half because I'm sitting under a skylight and the whole right side of my face was
You don't know this, but well, maybe you do because you can see yourself. But your camera was like glowing around the edges, like you were sent by angels from heaven into this Riverside. It was beautiful.
I had to turn my hat to the side.
I saw that.
Like, you know,
I thought you were just being jaunty.
No, like I look like a rugrat or something. I had to go sideways cap to shield my eyes, but now the sun has gone.
You look like
to torture.
MC Scat Cat.
Exactly.
You're looking like Return of Bruno over here. Anyways, another pleasurable afternoon with Timtal of the dog. Woof.
Would you say that to Tom Petty? You wouldn't say that to Tom Petty, would you?
I would say so many things to Tom Petty. He doesn't know me.
Listen, nobody wants the return of Bruno. Get the return of Tom Petty.
Jesus Christ.
Text me back. Text me back. Text me back. Text me back. Text me back at once. Text me back.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.